really sorry. We had a problem, I think, maybe with the Wi-Fi here. So there was a moment pause there. So we're back, just showing you the difference. So now, as you can see, most people have left. We'll see how patient they're going to be. They are waiting though, so let's see. There are two people who are back. Hello, sorry about that, we have a bit of a problem. Sorry, I'm just going to ask you. Can you see the last video?
Yeah, it is.
It is, okay. Great. Better picture. Yay, that's amazing. I'm actually on my own internet now, so hopefully that's better than the home Wi-Fi. Oh, how lovely. Okay, so well-being team seem to be doing their job, or some seems to be doing their job. They're giving them water. Oh, thank you for coming back, guys. I'm sorry for that little interval. Yeah, my phone just decided to stop working. So they're being given water, which is lovely. People understand that when you sing for a long time, you get a dry throat. Which is great. Did you give some leaflets outside as well for people to give out?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's lots here.
That's amazing. Okay. I guess
Jamie had a whole lot of them.
Amazing. So they've been handed out.
I hope so.
We could actually put that on the page after this event, couldn't we? That way anyone who was watching today will then be able to read the leaflet that we're giving out, which kind of details, that really details why we're here today, why we're protesting, and why we are stopping the meeting from taking place. And it has been pretty effective. Oh, we've changed song. Hello Lawrence. That's great. I'm glad people are coming back to watch this. Which is amazing.
Delaying the vote on any budget.
So please join in. Please, if you're close to Norwich County Council, come to support us. We've got a good dancer here. Joining in, which is great. I don't actually know this one. I think this might have been created just for today. There's been some creative lyric song lyric writing. Oh, that's great, Beth. I have to be honest, I can't quite understand. Okay, yes. I think we can applaud them, that was really good. Amazing. System down, in the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying climate justice now. People gonna rise like water, gonna shut this system down. In the voice of my great-granddaughter, saying climate justice now. Oh dear. So yeah, I mean the lights are
Yeah, dimming the lights to save energy.
I'm sure that is the reason. Great-granddaughter, say climate justice now. So just show that there are still reporters here at the scene, and there are people over there on the left. Just ask James. Justice. Maybe I should show that back on
The main XR pages, people are watching it.
They are. Oh, that's amazing. Fantastic. Oh, there's a bit of a conversation taking place. I don't know if it's just a question or asking if they're going to know. Our chamber!
County Council in protest. You already know. And we're protesting the western link to the northern distributor road. And today was the meeting where they were going to approve the budget, a £2 million budget. Oh, I see we've got a comment. Unfortunately, I can't seem to be able to see it. Strangely enough, Facebook's just telling me that I have a comment. There might be a difference between commenting in the live feed and out of it. So if people are hearing me and I can't see your comments, it might be because you need to comment elsewhere. Otherwise I have to still comment once I finished filming.
What do we want? Climate justice! What do we want it? Now!
There's no counters in the room, is there?
Stop building fancy roads! Keep the children's sectors open. No more road scans.
Okay, so just to explain what people are saying, for people who have just arrived, this is a protest against the Western Link.
Action now. Not by 2030, now. 2030 is too late.
2048 global fisheries collapse. Talk about the real issues.
Okay, so talking about the fact that we need to keep climate change to a max of 1.5 degrees. If we go over that, scientists say there's a chance that the sea level will rise by 2 meters, in which case, in the case of Norfolk, Great Yarmouth would be completely underwater, as well as King's Lynn. So Norfolk will be particularly affected by climate change, which is why we are protesting against this road, because it's not going in the direction that we would like it to.
30 years ago we stood here and we said it's got to change now, and it didn't. 30 years ago. This is our last chance.
Nobody is exempt from climate breakdown. Nobody can be smug enough to think that they can escape from climate breakdown. It affects us all, and action is necessary now.
Now! Rather like to interview someone. Wave. You might be able to meet outside the room. I don't know if it's thinking about it. She's probably quite busy. You sure you don't need to be That's amazing. Okay, they've got Shireen, they're going to interview her. She's a great person to interview. We are very conscious about having men and women involved in this justice movement.
Climate justice now. People gonna rise like water. We're gonna shut this system down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying climate justice now. People gonna rise like water. We're gonna shut this system down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying climate justice now. People gonna
I don't
rise
think he's Labour, he's got the wrong sort of tie on. It's not red.
Is the guy in the waistcoat forward doing, or is he?
Some Liberal Democrats.
I don't know who the man in the waistcoat is. Still got our supporters here on the right. Still some people seated here. They seem to be waiting. They could wait for a little bit longer. People who might have joined and don't know why we're here, we are at Norfolk County Council and we are here to protest against the construction of the western link to the Northern Distributor Road. Today was the day that they were meant to approve the budget, a £2 million budget in design costs. They have 4 options at the moment for where that road would cross the Wensum Valley. All 4 options has been condemned by Norfolk Wildlife Trust as they would affect a lot of wildlife sites in that area and potentially stop a natural corridor for wildlife to travel from the Wensum to the Tun Valleys. On top of that, the northern part of this Northern Distributor Road, which was constructed not that long ago, they have what's the word I'm looking for? There has been a 6% increase in carbon emissions since that road was built, because there is more traffic. So constructing a new road would encourage more traffic. So when people say that this road would actually help to stop congestion, climate justice now. 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 Power to the people. Okay, hi, I see that Jodie's just joined. Hello, Jodie. Sorry, I'm just going to finish what I was saying before because it got a little bit loud. I'll just re-say that we are at Norfolk County Hall to protest the construction of the western link of the Northern Distributor Road. So I was saying about this road is that they say it would kind of help with congestion and delays on the western side of Norwich. There's no proof of this because they estimate that transport would go up a huge amount, which means that the congestion could potentially just stay exactly the same as before. Also, the council declared that they think that this road is going to be 0% carbon emissions, which means that traffic won't go up, but this is a lie because they have actually estimated that the traffic would go up. So, oh, bit of silence there. Do you mind if I interviewed you for how long?
I'm happy to talk.
Yeah?
Yeah. This is so exciting. I understand somebody's just told me that the council have adjourned in order to deal with other matters elsewhere, and now they're coming back here at 11:30. It's 10:30 now. I don't know whether that's true or not, but there are other items obviously on the agenda today, and some of them are to do with local disability groups who are also here with us in the chamber. and they've all gone. The representatives of the disability groups have all gone, so I believe that they have gone to watch the council make those decisions elsewhere. But it's hard to know what's going on. They've turned the lights off. There's no one left in the chamber now other than two councillors.
That's true, actually. Let's see where
No
are they?
sign of any security
There they
guards.
are. They've decided they're going to stick it out.
Yeah. And Rupert Reed's just arrived.
Oh, there we
Shireen's
go.
just given an amazing interview. It looked like an amazing interview with a camera crew over to the side. So not only is she singing full pelts and leading the chants, but she's also gone and done a TV interview and slipped back into the line. So these people are so impressive.
No, it's really impressive. It's interesting to know that they think that this will all be over in an hour and that they'll be able to continue to approve the budget for this road. So we'll see what happens, but I think we have no intention of having left.
Rupert's talking to the group now. So perhaps there are instructions about what happens now. The viewing gallery has been cleared other than those of us who were here, either from the press or from Extinction Rebellion.
That's true.
We're a very small group up here now. There's
I'm just going to stand up. I think we've got a little banner here with us, if you can see. So we put up a little banner. Amazing. Can't actually quite see it from here, but it's one of our Extinction Rebellion homemade banners. And as you can see, people are waiting and watching from the side.
As we came in this morning, all gathered outside, 100 or so protesters, there was the most spectacular full rainbow, double full rainbow. So yeah, there were a good number of pictures of that, but it felt like a good sign before we started.
A good omen.
A good omen.
So I see that several people have just joined. So hello. I'm not going to speak too loudly because something's just started going on. There's a bit of discussion that seems to have just started. Rupert Reed has just arrived. I'm currently streaming live from the Norfolk County Hall in Norwich, and Extinction Rebellion are occupying the hall, the chamber.
The council chamber, yeah.
In protest against the Western link to the Northern Distributor Road. Sorry to repeat myself for the people who are already watching. Just let me know as well if the quality of the image is good enough. I know that earlier it was quite fuzzy, so don't hesitate to comment, say what you think. I should be able to see your comments if you comment in the live stream. Tell me also where you're watching from. I'd love to know if you're watching from Norfolk itself, if you're watching from further afield. To know whether this video has kind of got out to other places as well. We're very excited about what's happening today. It all went really to plan. People were terrified that we wouldn't actually make it. They wouldn't actually make it into the chamber. But yeah, it went without a, what's the expression I'm looking for? Without a hitch. The camera crew are still here, as you can see. There we go, just there, waiting as well. And there seems to be a discussion going on. The singing has stopped for a moment. I don't know if it's negotiation about what they're going to do now.
People gathering around that edge.
There we go, got a bit of a wave
What's
going
happening? Rupert, can you talk to the live stream?
on. Hello Laura, I see that someone else has just
Rupert,
arrived.
can you talk to the live stream?
We're trying.
Okay, so Natalie just said picture quality good, can't share outside the XR community, which would have been good. James, is that
Yeah.
apparently they can't
Yeah.
share.
We're
Hello.
trying.
Hi.
we're trying to negotiate whether there's a way for those who are in solidarity, we're in solidarity with them, the people fighting the cuts to the disabled and so on, whether they can get a chance to sort of have their say in the meeting as well. That's what we're trying to see if we can sort out.
That's good.
Fantastic. Obviously, it is important that everyone be heard. The other people who came here to protest today as well.
Disability cuts.
So there are also going to be disability cuts at the same time that this 2 million design project is to be approved. Doesn't sound great to do the same thing in the same meeting, does it? Anyway. So just to answer Natalie, we are looking at a way of sharing that outside the XR community page right now. So hopefully that will soon be available for you to share. Do let us know where you're watching this from. Are you actually outside the hall? Are you in Norfolk? Are you elsewhere? Great to know. And for the people who've just arrived, I don't know whether I should maybe reiterate why we're here. The reason, oh sorry, that was my thumb, just show that the people just come in. The reason that we're here is to protest against the budget, which was a £2 million budget for the design costs for this new road. Let me just quickly go around to the right. So we've still got some cameras here. There seem to be people who are determined to wait, as you can see. Oh, I see there's a little heart flying there to the right. That's lovely. Thank you for that. For people who don't know, there are currently 4 options for where this Western Link would cross the Wensum Valley. All 4 have been condemned by Norfolk Wildlife Trust as destructive to wildlife sites in that area. It would also so I think there are several species that are particularly in risk. There's a type of white-clawed clawfish. There's also a local type of eel which would be deeply affected. I think those are the 2 that would be mostly affected by these changes, but a huge amount of other wildlife would also potentially be affected. One of the routes directly stops what is a natural corridor for wildlife to cross between the Wensum and Ten Valleys. So it could potentially be really destructive to wildlife in the area. Not only is it about the destruction of wildlife, it would also increase the amount of carbon emissions in Norfolk. The county council claim that they think it will be 0% emissions, which means that it won't go up compared to what the emissions that there currently are. However, that's probably not true, definitely not true, because with the northern part of the Northern Distributor Road, emissions have gone up by 6% in just the last few years. So not only that, but cement is actually a huge contributor to carbon emissions as well, which is often not taken into account. So that's another thing. Also, I think as I already said, there is the costiest kind of the 4 options supposed to go up to £161 million for its construction. This is not taking into account inflation and the fact that costs are always much higher than what they originally believe. I think, don't quote me on this, but for the Northern Road, the cost was estimated at 78 million, and they're currently at around 200. So, yeah, they're actually estimating that this road could cost £350 million pounds, which is huge. And they're kind of starting this whole project on the same day that there are going to be cuts, austerity cuts, disability cuts in the area, which is why other groups are also here to protest today.
There's a tweet this just now, Peggy, from Clive Lewis. He says, plummeting insect numbers, which is of course this morning's news, threaten collapse of nature. We can turn this around. We just need the political will for radical solutions rather than tweaking business as usual. Expanding Heathrow and an obsession with road building and cars won't be the answer.
That's fantastic. So thank you very much.
It's Clive Lewis.
Yeah, thank you very much, Clive Lewis. That's amazing. It's true that we live in a society that always just promotes driving, cars, roads. I mean, think how amazing it would be if some of that money could be invested in better public transport. I mean, getting buses out of Norwich is a nightmare, really. So if they could invest more of that money in public transport, and that would actually mean there are fewer cars on the road, which would actually help bring down congestion, which surprisingly is never suggested as a solution to traffic jams. But hey. So yeah, if any of you have ideas for what that money, that 300 million, could be used for, instead of being invested on a road, please send me your messages.
I'm Francis. What's your name? Chris. I'm not. No, I am.
Would anyone be interested in being
On behalf of who?
quickly interviewed?
The ex-army.
It's true. Would either of you be interested in being interviewed to the live stream? Would you like to say hello?
It's a tricky dilemma, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think the people must be sick of hearing my voice by this point. So, let me come round. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Chris.
Oh, I'm going to move away slightly so I can see you. There we go. That's better. Hello, Chris.
Hi.
Can you talk about why you're here today? Because I think everyone has heard quite a lot from kind of my side why we're here today, but it'd be great to hear it from someone else.
Yes, climate change is the greatest threat to humanity other than nuclear war. It's going to result in hundreds of millions of people, possibly to billions of people dying in this coming century, and extinctions of a massive amount of our plants and animal species, and untold horror, war, poverty. It's just a horrendous problem, and nothing is being done to stop it. In fact, this government is forcing us down the opposite direction.
Oh, sorry, something's happening. I'll come back in a sec.
They are killing our future and our children's future. We are facing dangerous runaway climate change. Scientists predict that a rise in global temperature of more than 1.5 degrees Celsius could result in at least a 2-metre rise in sea level within the lifetime of our children and grandchildren. The Earth has already warmed by 1 degree Celsius. In Norfolk, with its soft coastline, a 2-metre sea level rise would mean that a large part of West Norfolk
loudly in the corner there.
Hopefully all went to the toilet.
People have the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Stronger by the hour.
I have people laughing very loudly in the corner there in a way that shows they are quite against what we're doing. Just see the tops of their heads.
Power to the
On
people.
the very right.
People have the power.
Trying to shut down what Shireen was saying,
Tell me, can you hear us?
but it didn't work.
Getting stronger by the hour. Power. People. People. Power. Power to the people. People have the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Stronger by the hour. Power. People. People. Power. Power to the people. People have the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Stronger by the hour. Power. People. People. Power. Power to the people. People have the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Stronger by the hour. Power.
Excuse me.
People. People.
She's on the phone.
People have the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Stronger by the hour. Power. People. People. Power. Power to the people.
Excuse me.
People have the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Stronger by the hour. Power. People. People.
Hi. We're live streaming this actually. Yes.
Norwich. It's all being live streamed there. So there's some extra things there which we prepared before. We didn't know quite how far this was going to go.
That's great. Just heard that it is on the main page. So anyone can share it now. So it'd be great if you wanted to share it, show everyone what we're doing. That would be amazing. Thank you for everyone who's been coming in to watch this. It's been great to know that people are interested and want to see what's going on today. We just talked to the press, which is a great thing. Hopefully it will help spread, talk about what we're doing, why we're here. Press over there in the corner as well, which is amazing.
Power to the people. People have the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Here about an hour. Power. People. People.
I've already sent all the press releases out to all the news desks. Yeah, I did that at 10. Yeah. But what that press release didn't say was just how much disruption we've managed to do. Yeah. So I think anyone who's reporting on this right now will get it. Yeah.
They are warned.
Yeah.
They know the power. Fantastic.
Can you hear us?
Do you actually know about the hour?
Sorry?
who's left here. So BBC. That BBC. Amazing.
ITV, I think, have been here as well.
Fantastic.
Radio Norfolk are here.
Amazing.
EDP, Eastern Daily Press.
Fantastic. So we got quite a few people who came here this morning from the press. So I think that was ITV, BBC Norfolk, EDP. Fantastic. Okay. Order, gonna shut this system down. The voice of my great granddaughter, sing climate justice now. The people gonna rise like water, gonna shut this system down. I hear the voice of my great granddaughter, sing climate justice now. The people gonna rise like water, they're gonna shut this system down. Okay, so we're going to see for how much longer this continues. I think we could continue for quite a bit longer. People are really collected there on the left. They're still waiting. They seem to believe that they might be able to come in and continue their meeting. Obviously, the protesters have no intention of leaving until the meeting is cancelled, at the very least. So will need to be carried out, indeed. They will need to be carried out. They've started filming again there on the right, which is great. Hopefully they're going to interview a few more people, get a range of different people expressing their views. It would be amazing.
Just saying, no one could have thought that it was going to go as well as this.
Exactly. We just have quite a few people there, don't we, on the side? They seem to be waiting.
I think if they're supposed to adjourn until 11, we've got 3 minutes before 11 now, so people are gradually coming back in.
Right.
But I'm still seeing no security guards or police.
No, indeed, they're kind of hoping, I guess, that we will leave of our own accord.
Have a look at the cameras too. I mean, we're filming this, but we've also got local television.
Yeah.
This is all being recorded. Any manhandling of these people out of the chamber is going to be very public.
It's going to be very public, which is probably why they haven't started. Yes, they're kind of hoping we'll get bored and leave. But we won't.
We've got some harmonies coming in the chants now. Beautiful harmonies.
Justice now. The people gonna rise like water. We're gonna shut this system down. Hear the voice of my great granddaughter sing climate justice now.
Beautiful harmonies.
Yeah. Great. We need all the support. They need all the support they can get. They're probably getting a little bit thirsty now. But they did get water, so we went round with water, which was amazing. Yeah, I mean, they did get told that they needed to be before coming in, which obviously they did, because they cannot now leave the chamber and then come back. I'm guessing that would be rather difficult.
Preparing to.
Oh, there's the mayor. I can zoom in. I think he did just try and shout something. Let's fucking zoom in. There are some lovely harmonies coming in the songs, actually. Sorry, that's probably going to be really blurry now, isn't it? Let's show these lovely people. So I'm not sure if you can read what's on their t-shirts. I think it says...
There's a large number of people coming in now, Peggy.
There are. Let me just show you.
cameras are on them. Look, all the cameras, all the cameras over there.
Daughter, saying climate justice now.
I think there could be a little bit of a standoff now. That's what we think, because people are coming back in. Let me zoom back out. Hello, Laura. So you've just come back. This is the right moment to come back, actually, because they're all coming back in. The councillors all coming back in to sit down in their seats.
The atmosphere in the room is really tense.
It's extremely tense. People, they're going to kind of, they're trying to ignore what's happening. I think they're hoping that by intimidation of numbers, they're going to make them leave. Unfortunately, that's not what's going to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what will happen. The cameras are rolling. They're hoping that something is going to happen. We'll see. Hello, Vera. I just see that someone else has just arrived. You have chosen the right time to come, because everyone has just come back in. I think they were in a different place to address other issues apart from budget. I think we need to support the people in front of us. I'm going to sing along for a little bit. Please show your support by sharing this video, commenting. The police have just arrived.
The police have just arrived.
It's great to know that the police have just arrived. We'll see what happens. The cameramen are starting to move. People! Power! Power to the people! Oh, the cameramen are getting closer. Probably only got a few minutes before the policemen ask what's going on and enter the chamber. Got a very cheerful councillor here, sitting with a smile. Power! Oh dear, they're trying to stop this from happening. Unfortunately, it's not going to work. They're drowning her out. I do feel sorry for her. Oh, hello, Maria. I see that you've just joined. Thanks for joining. We've just been told that the police have arrived. This is actually a great moment to join. Everyone has just got back into the chamber. There's a lot of frustration. We're expecting the police any minute, so any support you can show by liking, commenting, sharing this video would be amazing. Just sing along in the comfort of your own house. That's like support enough. That's great. The woman is getting really irate. Oh no, that's great. I'm back. Amazing. Sorry guys. Sorry about that. That was my phone.
So they're adjourning until 12.
Okay, so adjourning until 12.
Just in and off again.
So everyone's come in and they've gone again, which is exactly what happened at 10 actually. People came in and then left again. I'm guessing the police are now going to come in and try and negotiate. We'll see what happens. Power! People! Power! Power to the people! So as you can see, there are cameras. They were just filming everything that happened. So today I think we had BBC Norfolk, ITV, the EDP, Radio Norfolk, I think we're all here. Unfortunately, I don't know which cameraman corresponds to which media outlet. It would be great if I could know. I think they're the BBC, but we're absolutely sure. Sorry, I don't know why that keeps happening. Wi-Fi isn't great. Oh, I see you've got another like. That's amazing. Thank you for people. Thanks for your support. It's not too late if you are in town and you want to join us at the county hall. There is also a protest going on outside, so you're more than welcome to join. Please do bring snacks, bring water. I think these people are going to need it if they're allowed out. Obviously, not everyone wants to get arrested, is comfortable going that far. So we're going to see what happens to the police who have just arrived. Let me just show you a cameraman who's on my left. There we go. There we go. Just show you people sitting next to me. There we go. That's Rebecca. That's James. We're really excited. It's going. It is, isn't it? It's going really well. There's our little banner. Let me just show you our little banner. There we go. To show our support and solidarity. Oh, it looks as if they're trying to put some opera on to shut us out. Oh, that's hilarious. Let me just show you the gentleman who's doing this. Opera. Yeah. Norfolk elite. Yes. He couldn't have put anything more elitist, really, could he? It's quite a message to put opera on.
Yeah, that's right. Put your fingers in your ears and listen to some opera and pretend that the climate isn't collapsing around you.
Yeah. So I think the guy decided he was not going to leave his chair and he was fed up with the songs. So this is his kind of response. So I think they need some support. People! Power! Power to the people! People have the power! Tell me how you hear us! Stronger by the hour! Power! People! People! Power! Power to the people! People have the power! Tell me how you hear us! Stronger by the hour! Power! Power! Okay, here we go. Okay, the police have just arrived. So this poor gentleman knows that he is going to be filmed the entire duration. Oh no, he's just going to wait. He's just going to wait. He's going to watch a little bit. The cameras are getting quite interested. Now that the policemen have arrived, I'll just show you the cameraman there. Same climate justice now. So I think we need to show our support and sing a little bit here. Shut this system down. Voice of my great granddaughter. Say climate justice now. The people gonna rise like water. Some negotiations happening. As you can see, there is a policeman who has just arrived. Say climate justice now. People gonna rise like water. We're gonna shut this system down. Hear the voice of my great granddaughter saying climate justice now. The people gonna rise like water. We're gonna shut this system down. Oh, hello, so there's a Georgie who's just joined. Just to fill you in, we're occupying the chamber of the Norwich County Hall. It's been over an hour now and the police have just arrived. So as you can see, there's some negotiating going on and we can't hear what's happening from here. I think he's kind of entreating to their better side to leave this chamber and to let the meeting take place. The Extinction Rebellion does not want this meeting to take place because we do not want the design budget to be approved for the Western Link. So this is going to go on for a little bit longer. I don't know what happened. They will probably have to forcibly remove some of the people here today and carry them out of the chamber, which should be quite fun to watch. Let's see how long it takes them to get to that point. Do comment. I see that there are 4 people watching right now. Do tell me from where you're watching, which Extinction Rebellion group you're part of. It'd be great to have your support. Do share this as well. And do the same in your own Extinction Rebellion groups. It'd be amazing. I think in Edinburgh they did something similar a couple of weeks ago. It would be great to get a little bit more rebellion going across the country. Obviously there is April, that's going to be a lot of fun, so hopefully see all of you there on the 15th. So let me just show you, there's a bit of negotiating, talking going on there between the policemen and I think council members. Cameras are still here. Everyone left. There was a lot of tension actually when everyone came in, but most people left again. They're supposed to come back at midday. Will the police have tried to remove them by that time? We don't know. We'll have to see. We're gonna shut this system down. I hear the voice of my great granddaughter saying climate justice now. People gonna rise like water. We're gonna shut this system down. I hear the voice of my great granddaughter saying climate justice now. People gonna rise like water. We're gonna shut this system down. I hear the voice of my great granddaughter saying climate justice now. Do you mind, just for variety's sake, if I just ask you a few questions? Is that alright? I think they must be sick of hearing my voice, to be honest. I've been talking non-stop for the last hour. Would you mind just introducing yourself?
My name is Paul Neal from Norwich Green Party.
Amazing, fantastic. Did you know there was going to be a protest on today before coming along?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
Amazing. So were you outside at 9 o'clock?
Outside, yeah.
Can you tell us what exactly has happened today?
What has happened today?
So it's not me who keeps doing it.
We're getting the effect that we want is to actually bring awareness to the Extinction Rebellion.
Fantastic.
Point in case, the gentleman just behind me is still trying to deny that there is an extinction going to happen, and his science is different to what mine is.
Okay.
Apparently.
And this gentleman is the one who's sitting right behind you.
Yeah.
Would it be interesting for me to try and interview this person?
You can try.
Yeah.
But it sounds a bit of the. He's got his own scientists, I think.
Sorry?
Like Mr. Trump, he has his own scientists who had different opinions.
His own truth, a different truth to what the rest of us seem to possess.
Yeah.
Amazing. Could you tell me why the Western Link is a bad idea? Oh, got a bit of support.
Sorry?
Could you tell me why the Western Link is a bad idea? Why we're here today, why we want to stop this from happening?
Because of the acceleration of climate change and public awareness is far too complacent, even more so amongst politicians. We get platitudes, but we never get actually concrete action, and that's all the way to the international stage as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be little things like this all across the world that start the revolution.
Absolutely.
And it's not me. I'm going to be here. Probably the earth will be here for the rest of my life. But I have grandchildren, and I'm not going to have them think of me. What did I do? Nothing. You have to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you think could be done which would be more useful instead of doing the Western Link? Could we invest that money into something that could be more worthwhile?
Well, the first thing they should have done before even doing like the Northern Distributor Road is actually get a serious transport system in that is more environmentally friendly and people friendly. We seem to be nothing but cars and roads as the first option. Yes, reality is that we do need them, but not in the proportion that they currently are.
So would your solution be a lot more invest that money in public transport? Sorry, that.
We need to be a bit more imaginative, and there's plenty of countries in the world who are. We just seem to take this ridiculous easy option of throwing money at tarmac.
Absolutely. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to move away. Thank you so much for that. To show
I
that
just had a tweet from one of my colleagues at the university. At a time when insects are dying out and our wild spaces are shrinking, it becomes ever more important to save those we have. We must protect our world, every corner of it, however small it may seem.
Amazing. Thank you.
That's one of my colleagues from the university.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you to
The
her.
tweets are getting out there. People are reading, people are watching.
That's amazing.
People are tweeting back.
Really happy that people are supporting us. Just to show they've kind of half turned the lights out. Then again, that doesn't really bother us that much. I see that they're kind of really having a chat and talk, probably about where to go from here, how far they're prepared to go. The policeman has left again, so he might be back, I guess, shortly, probably talking with colleagues and other council members. We will see what happens. Thank you so much.
The atmosphere in the room is oh, we've got
Oh gosh,
somebody
that was
speaking
slightly
through.
terrifying.
When do we want it?
Now,
What do we want?
climate justice. Now, climate justice.
When do we want it?
Seem to be having a little bit of fun here with one of the microphones, and someone is getting her her little moment of glory in the chair. Yay! Sorry, that's really blurry, isn't it?
Chair, would you please move the amendment that Norfolk County Council declares a climate emergency? Thank
There
you.
we go. Let me zoom back out again. This is probably quite blurry. Oh dear. Oh dear. Looks like she's going to get removed. There's a gentleman waiting for her to move. Oh dear, we were getting slightly irate, I think, about her being there. Oh, no. They're very not happy. I think they're starting to get slightly irate. We've still got the cameras here on my right. I think this lady's going to get removed. There is quite a lot of tension in the room, even though there aren't very many people here, but the gentleman is asking her to get down from where she is. Oh, okay, so she's coming back, and he's following along. Apparently it's worse if you go up, I guess. Apparently they're allowed to be in the centre of the chamber, but not allowed to take the mayor's seat, or the chairman's seat, whether that's the mayor or not, I'm not absolutely sure.
It's going to be the king.
I think there was an exchange there with one of the security guards. I think you might have asked them how long they're planning on staying, if they're planning on leaving, and I think they said, nah, we're going to stay a little bit longer.
Police have come and gone. I don't think they're interested.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay, so police come and gone.
Well, what can they do? There's been no crime committed.
No, so I mean,
It's not aggravated trespass. There's been no criminal damage.
Obviously,
There's been a lot of singing.
Yeah, absolutely. Occupying.
Aggravated singing.
Obviously, Extinction Rebellion is against all acts of violence. We are a non-violent protest
Direct
group.
action protest group. Yeah.
Which means that Rebellion!
What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Climate justice!
We want it.
Now!
Climate justice.
t-shirts. I remember what the t-shirts said when they were in the right order. So is it NCC guilty of ecocide?
Can we see the t-shirts again, lined up? So we can read the...
I'm going to zoom in. Maybe we can take a good picture. There we can you see?
Can we see the whole sentence?
Can you still see us?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's great. So NCC guilty of ecocide. Care, not cars. Actually, if any of you do have questions, I can shout them over. So please do.
Okay, we've got
the people who are watching this. Please do post comments.
Yay!
Look at that work. Think how much time that took. Yeah, like congrats to the arts team. Like really impressed. Really impressed. They must have spent so much time on that this week. There we go. I'm afraid that might be a bit blurry, so it might come out a little bit further. There we go. To make the image a little less blurry. Do let me know if you can't see very well. I'll try and kind of move camera a bit less. Oh, how lovely. Someone seems to be turning the television on for them so that they have something to watch. There we go. Let me show you. Oh, is he? Oh, he's trying to. He's trying to turn the television on. Which is a very kind thing to do, I guess. Or was he turning them off? Maybe they're trying to save energy, which would be great. Though they do have plastic cups with the water machine, so that's slightly less great. I'm just trying to show you that. That's great that we came here today. We can maybe suggest that they don't have that option. Maybe paper cups, maybe everyone bring their own water bottle and fill it up. I'm sure many people do that already, but you can never be too many. So some people are back, as you can see above them. They're kind of watching them as if they don't know whether they might bite.
Something's happening. The lights are going back on again.
Looks like they're starting to. Their legs are starting to ache. Do we know why everyone's staying standing up? Is there a particular reason at all? Why everyone's standing up?
So that we can see the t-shirts better?
That must be. Obviously, if the police did come back, they would have to probably lie down. I wanna know. I sleep at night.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hey, County Council. Ooh. I wanna know. I sleep at night. So, for people who weren't here earlier, I think this song was created just for today. I wanna know how to sleep at night. Hey, County Council. I wanna know how to sleep at night. How's the Twitter going? Yeah, is it going well?
Yeah. Lots of positive reaction on Twitter.
Oh,
People spreading the message. So
fantastic.
It's good.
Amazing. Thanks, Jim. How are you doing? Yeah, it's good. Wave, hello. I have to be honest, I did get here a bit late this morning. I got a bit lost on the rainbow. Yeah, in time. With the rainbow. You arrived with the rainbow. Okay, Doman. Council. I wanna know how to sleep at night. They're doing well. We're getting through the songs. If anyone has any songs to suggest, please do. I think we've kind of got 4. We keep going around.
Oh, okay.
I'll do it later. I'll come back to it. That would be easier, wouldn't it?
Oh, fantastic.
I do want to.
Let me just show you. This is
Yeah.
the leaflet,
This is the leaflet
that James kind of put together for today with Rebecca.
No, this is James's artistry. Brilliant.
Spent a lot of time on it on Friday,
Yeah.
so thanks for that. And this kind of lists, we will put this up so it's available for everyone, but it kind of lists kind of, you know, Extinction Rebellion's main points, and also why in particular Extinction Rebellion Norwich is here today. There we go. Thanks, Rebecca, that's great. So, oh yeah, people are leaving. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for sticking around, that's great. So we've got some people who are sitting with us who are just leaving the chamber. Hopefully they'll come back later. Oh, we've got a bit of a fist there in support, which is amazing. Obviously everyone now has to wait a little bit until we see what they decide. It's great actually to hear that the police have left again.
Yeah, they came, they shook hands. Well, one single police officer arrived, shook hands, said a few words, asked what they were doing, and then seemed to leave.
From what we can understand, they can only intervene if it's if there's criminal damage, as this is kind of a civil matter. It's not something they can really intervene on. So they've gone again, which is great. Obviously, Extinction Rebellion is a non-violent direct-action group, which means that the purpose today here isn't to fight with anyone, isn't to hurt anyone, and also isn't to cause any damage. We are just occupying the chamber. That is why we are here.
And it's also important, I think, to emphasise that whilst this may look like we're disrupting democracy, we have been to endless council meetings and county council meetings. We've been involved in using the democratic process peacefully, and we still are, just rather more noisily than we were before.
Exactly, that is true. I mean, we have tried so many other ways, we've gone to so many different meetings, we've just been put off, like the gentleman from the Green Party said earlier, kind of put off, not taken
at,
seriously. Exactly.
Yeah, mocked. Really not listened to at all. I was really shocked when I went to the City Council meeting where the Labour councillors all voted en bloc to not sign up to the Green Party proposal to declare a climate emergency. But it wasn't just that, it was the sense of just not getting it, just not understanding, being so preoccupied with business. Business as usual, we will not be disrupted, we'll keep this juggernaut going, and the contempt both for the Green Party councillor who made such a passionate speech, and for those of us who were there that day protesting. It was my first insight, I suppose, into local democracy. It was the first time I'd ever been to a city council meeting in Norwich or anywhere in any other place where I've lived, and I came away really shocked by what I saw. The contempt, the sneeriness, the failure to really engage with what we were saying, or indeed what the councillor was saying about the need to declare a climate emergency.
Yeah, because
I think we've achieved what we set out to do.
Yes, you're going to go. Yeah.
I'll hear about it.
Yeah, I'll
I guess it's on the news, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
amazing. Thank you.
see you soon.
Yep. Take care.
So it's just us now in the gallery.
It is just us.
And in the chamber,
There's still quite
the
a few
protesters,
people here.
camera people, journalists, tapping away below, sending off News reports?
Hopefully, that's
Tweeting,
amazing.
perhaps?
Got a couple of women sitting here on the chairs. I'm not quite sure who they are.
Yeah. So how do we get around Norfolk, she said.
It's not working. There's no point talking about democracy, there's no point talking about human rights, there's no point about talking about anything unless we sort this out. And this has got to be at the top of our agenda.
But the whole plan, the problem is when you say what else can we do to get around Norfolk, there are other countries that have managed to plan communities so that they're not dependent on the car. But the planning has to be, and that's a really important thing. But if you try and shut down democracy, I mean, that we elected the representatives. You can't crack down on local democracy every time they meet. Well, the primary duty of any government is to protect its citizens, and you're not protecting us, you're putting us at risk. You're elected to come here and represent the people who've elected to do our best, and that's what we're going to do, and they're going to be very disappointed today. It's not enough when we go back. We said we couldn't do better. No, but I certainly am. I'm certainly doing my best. I'm fighting for buses in King's Head. I'm fighting for water. No, you shouldn't be laughing because buses take cars off. I'm actually surprised somebody talking about climate change at last when I say that I'm trying to get buses. Because it's not enough. It's a very serious thing. It's not 6,000 miles of road.
It's too little too late. It's too little too late.
It's never too late. It's never too late.
That's why we're here.
We're saying it's not too late.
But we need to debate. You're just singing. You need to write down and constructive ideas. You've done that.
The scientists have been doing this. Like Carl Sagan, 30 years ago, was saying all the stuff that we're saying. Nothing has changed. The idea that anything has changed.
Labour.
All we hear is that Britain is a great
There was a law that said that new build had to be carbon neutral, and it was gotten rid of.
Yeah.
And the only way we're going to change is if we go back. We're going backwards.
Well said.
It's not just the county council shutting down. We're shutting down the country. And enable
And then nothing will change. This is not the way to be going down.
It is. It's the only way left.
Are you all getting this? I hope you can hear.
And you really need to get all these children, all these families and children to come to talk about these and watch the debate. And you are stopping them, and it's not right.
We are here for the children. We are here to protect our children's world.
Well,
yes, exactly.
they should come and listen.
Stop playing to the cameras. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, she's playing with the cameras. Basically, we should be sympathetic. This is one of the people who could potentially vote for these cuts.
We may be doing, maybe, I don't know what you personally have done, but the point is, the county has not done enough.
You said you want to debate, so why don't you listen to it? We got an incinerator stopped in Kingston, which would have created lots of carbon to burn things and recycling like glass.
And what are you doing to reduce emissions?
And what we're doing is we're trying to change the way we get energy. We're trying to build energy efficiency into our buildings. We're trying to cut down projects. I'm fighting for buses. I've got something on here today which is
Diesel buses, so do you support the new roads?
no, I want them to
And do you support the new roads?
the NDR.
Everybody supported the road except the Greens and some UK.
So she's lying.
Right.
So if she wasn't green, then she voted for.
I don't know what she is.
Interesting.
Well, I voted for it, and then I refused, and then the second time I refused to come. I raised issues about the fact that whether the cost of it. And that was the Norwich. I did not vote against it. I did not vote against it. And I understand.
She does seem to be enjoying herself.
30 years, over 30 years.
King's Lynn's going to be underwater.
So many different aspects of society. I mean, paying out the taxes, and yet we're at a stage where there's like global ecosystems around perhaps about 2050, and we're hoping to be all striving for global warming. So even for children, for our grandchildren.
There's no joy in opposition. It's the economic system which is wrong, and if you don't change the whole system, you can't tinker around the edges anymore.
Yeah, she's really good.
We
have!
Apparently we need to be writing this down.
Yeah.
There's no debate in here.
Maybe she's
There's no real debate.
her direction.
There's a Tory majority and they do it. Get yourselves elected.
Oh, hello, Ines. There's a bit of discussion going on.
This is our statement. It's here. Do you want it? Good. It's got another 10 minutes yet. I'm really proud too.
Maybe got the incinerator stopped because of UKIP.
Really?
UKIP took loads of votes off the Tories after that expenses scandal in 2009.
Okay.
It was, vote anybody except Tory, Labour or Lib Dem all got caught in the expenses scandal. 2009 county elections, so UKIP got lots of councils, the Greens got 7.
Okay.
And Conservatives lost their overall majority vote to UKIP, and Labour and Lib Dems booted out the incinerator. That's because UKIP did so well that we lost the incinerator.
Oh gosh. Well, you don't want to wish kind of ill, do you? But Peggy, intervention, combination.
Just to let you know, I was having another tweet to say 3 more police are here, so I think this will be coming to a head.
Okay, so the policemen have come back.
You have it! We gave you the statement!
She doesn't seem to understand our frustration. Just to warn you, the police are coming back, so this could get a little bit.
I spoke to him this morning.
It could get quite interesting quite soon. Let's see what happens.
He's gone.
Backwards. What about the feed-in tariff for renewables? That's an industry. Why do we still give subsidies to the fossil fuel industry and not to the renewable industry? We're going the wrong way. People have been saying this for years.
Sorry if that's a bit blurry, people.
Tommy's long film, Martin Luther, and there's a part in the film where everybody sings, "We're not going to take it, and we're not going to take it anymore. We are not going to take it as being shoved off by people saying, oh, we need to debate it, let us look at it, let's look at it for you. No, we are taking control. These debate changes are going.
Yeah, the system
They're going. They're going.
You're fiddling while Rome burns.
I like that. Okay, so to the people watching, let me know if that's too fuzzy because I've zoomed in. I haven't been talking much because I wanted you to hear the talk, what's happening between the councillor and the people occupying the chamber. There's a lot of negotiating.
Councillors sneer and mock.
How many scientists need to write down these points? It's to be ignored.
We've given you the statement.
40, 50 years, and it's been ignored
And IPCC
wrote everything down and said we have 10 to 12 years before we have catastrophe.
And that's watered down. That's
They'll ignore us again.
This is it.
Stop the Western Link.
Close down.
Start there. Stop the Western Link.
Okay.
There's no point in getting home quicker if
Ooh, well said.
You hear that?
When an 11-year-old girl saying we can act like our house is fine.
So no point building a road to go home if there's no home to go to, which is true. For the people watching, they estimate that if we don't manage to keep climate change to a 1.5 degree difference, if it goes up to 2 or 3 degrees, say, the water, sea level, they estimate will rise by 2 metres, and we will lose a great part of Great Yarmouth and King's Lynn, and we will have our very own climate refugees here in Norfolk. Norfolk will be particularly affected by climate change, something which the council should be taking into account.
Shireen just asked her if she had seen the display about civil disobedience in the hallway. This is civil disobedience. This is
amazing. So what has been going on in the hallway?
There's an extraordinary exhibition of suffragettes from Norfolk and around the country. A huge display in the lobby of the County Council building. Really beautiful, actually, with big pictures of the suffragettes, statements that they made. An enormous celebration, quite rightly, of the power of civil disobedience. And that is what we're doing today. We are the suffragettes of our time.
Yeah. Let's hope that we can do as much as the suffragettes did.
Yeah.
Because they changed the world.
We need to do it faster.
And we need to do it faster. We unfortunately have a time limit. I mean, hats off to this councillor. She definitely wants to talk. She's not going anywhere.
She's brave, but she's run out of arguments now.
I think so.
We know we're wasting our time here because nobody's listening. Climate change is happening. In 10 years' time, King's Lynn will be underwater.
And they're doing it in the floodplain. You're quite right, that should be stopped. And I can't explain that to us as a disgrace. But the fact is we need to come in here and we need to have our finance. But why
You're fiddling while Rome burns.
Well, we're fighting for them. But you said they've already established. Well, they have to get that stopped.
peaceful. Like I said, we are a non-violent direct action group. Just some songs. We haven't seen the police yet, so they're probably talking outside. I am curious to know what is going on outside.
Invite us! Invite us now. We'll present. Complacency!
So I have Matthew asking, who is that councillor out of interest? We have actually tried to identify her. Did you manage to find out who she is? You didn't. Unfortunately, Matthew, we don't know.
Okay, yes. Is he still here?
It'd be great if it did come in. I've had a question of who this councillor is. Do you think there's any way of finding out?
What's your name, councillor?
We are asking her directly.
She can't hear you.
I'll try again.
She's slightly...
Oh, she is, yeah.
Oh, she's here?
King's Lynn Council.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so we have the place. Obviously, she has mentioned that she is King's Lynn councillor. I don't know. Unfortunately, I can't access internet while I'm live streaming. So, if you want to look up who is the King's Lynn councillor and come back with a name, that would be amazing. Otherwise, sorry, I'm moving around a little bit. It's probably a bit fuzzy.
What's your name, councillor? What's your name, councillor? Thank you.
Thank you. So that, did you get that? It's Alexandra Kemp.
Independent.
An independent.
Thank you for talking with us.
Okay. Okay, I'm running out of battery. I think that was a joke. How about?
Invite us.
More secure. It looks as if some people are coming back in. I need to get a battery pack out. Can you record for
Sure,
me?
I will, yep.
Amazing.
She's had her last word. It was impressive, though. Brave of her, given all the adrenaline and the high feelings, to come in and talk to everybody. She was listening.
There was some.
Although, final word was certainly a bit weak about you're taking a dangerous route. There is only one obviously dangerous route here, and that's what the council are doing. And the climate emergency is the most dangerous of all. So Peggy is now...
The meeting's been adjourned indefinitely from moment, so we're clearing the council chamber.
Okay, thank you very much.
That clears the public gallery.
Thank you, thank you.
And we could also stay. Yeah.
Peggy's just finding her battery charger. We've just been told that the meeting's adjourned and they're clearing the council chamber, and that includes the gallery. Hello? No, Peggy's the genius here. She's been live streaming the whole thing. We've just been told they're clearing the gallery.
So obviously that was an interesting exchange. I'll just reiterate that it
Slightly
was
pale-looking
Alexandra
councillor.
Kemp, an independent councillor. I think she's part of Kings Lynn South and another area that she's responsible for.
Kings Lynn South.
Sorry. So, I mean, she did want to talk, though unfortunately I thought Jamie made a really good point about how we are also here, you know, for the children, and how they are not doing their duty of protecting us and looking after the people. Obviously, we are very pro-democracy. Extinction Rebellion is very pro-democracy. If we feel that we have to occupy the chamber, it means that we're not being listened to, and we don't want to participate in this end of...
Take some leaflets, put those just after
Yeah. So guys, what are we going to do?
I don't know.
Do you think we could also enter the chamber?
Well, I think things are going to... They've now permanently postponed the meeting. So the meeting's done for today.
You're not conning us. They're not those bastards. These sort of dirty tricks. They say the meeting's over. Then when we all go, suddenly reconvene it.
No, I think people will have gone.
They've run out of time to run it now. So.
Yeah.
So it has worked. We've managed to kind of end this.
Good one.
That was good, wasn't it? Very good. Let's go and have a breath of fresh air outside.
It was. Should I end this
Well
live
done,
stream?
guys. Kudos. Excellent work.
What do you want us to do? Should I continue trying to live stream?
I think we heard it was permanently adjourned.
Yeah, we've just been told it's permanently postponed.
And they're clearing the council chamber.
I don't trust them.
When they come to get their bags, then maybe we'll go.
I don't trust them. They're conning us.
Okay.
Okay.
I see. All right. We'll stay.
Yeah. If we can try and stay, if they don't forcibly remove them, then they won't forcibly remove us. But I don't know how far you want to go. I am. Oh, I see that we're 5 people now.
Did you say it's been permanently
back to
adjourned?
4. Hello.
Can you give me some more?
Yeah, I'll come talk. I'll stay here.
Right. I'm going to have to go to work, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'll go and find out.
Thank you, James. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Have you got...
Thank you so much. I am a student, actually, so I'm lucky enough to not have class today.
I'm afraid if I go, then I won't be able to get back up into the gallery, so I'm not going. I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
But I will have a word with you at the other end.
Wonderful. I'll just stay here. We are going to stay because the councillors haven't taken all their bags, so we think they're lying. And actually, they just want us to leave to start the meeting again at midday. So we will stay here for a little bit longer. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I see that we're 5 people now. Hello. Is that Pete? Pete Tequila. That's a great name. So to reiterate for people who have just arrived, we're in the Norfolk County Council Hall, and we have been occupying it now for, I actually have no idea what the time is, but I think we must be about 11:30. Do you know what the time is, Chris?
Yeah, it's 5 to 12.
5 to 12, so we are nearly 12. We've been here for 2 hours. 2 hours or so? Oh, Natalie's saying stay, stay. That's great. Thank you, Natalie, for your support. Rebecca's actually coming back. He's going to tell me what the gentleman told her.
He's quite aggressive. He wants us out. He's saying he asked me to. He said he wanted me. He asked me whether I knew of all the families outside who were upset. And the disruption that we've caused, etc. So that is the line that they're going to try and take.
I'm sure that they're also upset because the council wants to make these cuts in the first place, but unfortunately this has not been mentioned. I mean, we are quite a great scapegoat.
Right.
Because they've said that they want to listen to us. Well, several of the councillors have said they've left when they're not. They're all in that room over there drinking coffees.
Right.
Their lunch. Yeah.
And then they'll come back.
As soon as we've gone, they'll come back.
Which is fine, isn't it? Sorry?
They told you that it was the date.
He said it's adjourned and there's no decision about when it gets reconvened.
Yeah, an easy answer.
Yeah. You did a fantastic job, honestly. It was amazing. Yeah. It was a good call and response, backwards and forwards.
Outside, people that actually stayed in that room.
Don't know. I don't know anything about what's been happening outside. But I do know that Peggy's got the whole thing live streamed.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
We've got several people here who they've sent loads of support. We've had a lot of Twitter support as well. Yeah, so no, it's been so to be honest, I don't know. It comes and goes. Different people come and go. At one time, I think 6.
Yeah.
I said 15 minutes before there would be a live stream. Yeah. I do think it would be great to share this to more.
Yeah. Is it?
Vincent seems so eager. But I think. What do you think? It would be great.
Yeah. I don't know how you do it. Do you know how to do it?
So I do. If you do have Facebook yourself, or should I open mine? You do. All you need to do is share it.
Oh, I see. I have shared the live stream link.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that on several occasions.
That's amazing. Exactly.
But I haven't done it to. Yeah.
If we could try and share it to as many places as possible on Facebook. That's not what I want. There we go. Oh dear, no, that's not what I want. Sorry, I had a bit of a break there.
So what I understand now from talking to Shireen is that there's a negotiation going on.
Okay.
They have said that they want to listen, and what we're hoping for is that they will invite us to come and give a talk about what our concerns are. So this is the councillor who was speaking before. What was her name?
Alexandra Kemp.
That's right, Alexandra Kemp. So she's doing the negotiating. She's doing a good job. And from what I heard from Shireen, what happens now depends upon the outcome of this negotiation.
Okay. Great, it's really good to know.
It is really good. I mean, it's great that they have that they're interested in getting someone to come and talk. Whether they'll stick with that or whether this is just a ploy to get us all out the council chamber so that they can reconvene. But rather that than police drag people out. But then I suppose they're also concerned about what that might look like in the local press too.
Exactly.
Having the police drag people out.
So let's have a look. Okay, so Chris here has just given me his phone.
Yeah. Just spoke to Shireen just now, and she seemed to think that what happens. Just spoke to Shireen just now, and she seemed to think that what happens now depends upon this negotiation. What do you think?
I think they might well try to come back in again.
Yeah.
Or they'll try and feed us a story and so that we leave.
And then reconvene.
Okay, so there are some interesting articles about this particular councillor, Alexandra Kemp. She spoke out against a proposal to build 500 new homes in West Norfolk, exactly where. So her take on it was that these were grounds that were at flood risk, and also she says that the application fails to appreciate or assess the road safety issues. So this is someone who is quite sympathetic to what different kinds of construction could lead to on the long run Obviously, there's no point in building 500 new homes if they're then just going to get flooded in about, in the next kind of 20 years and more. So as you can see, the negotiations are happening right now. We've got people waiting there on the left in the corner to see what might happen. And negotiations are happening. Where is Rupert Reed actually? Is he outside?
He'll be outside, he'll be giving interviews
He'll be
and so on.
talking.
Where's Rupert?
I think probably in the lobby. There's a lot of people in the lobby. And then there's a lot of people outside as well. So we're in the inner chamber, but there are hundreds of people outside. And I imagine that more people will have come down by now as well.
Did you feel like doing an interview at all?
I think Andrew's just coming up, actually. You might want to... Andrew? You mean outside? Yeah, if it's needed. Yeah. Shireen's given a television interview though, and that's really good. Apparently, the interviewer who I spoke to said she did a great job.
Fantastic.
I wonder what these councillors are over on the left, Peggy. Those
Look
three.
rather...
Yeah, they're watching. Maybe they've just got the back of the councillor.
I mean, it would be
Want
good.
to come and talk to us.
They would be welcome to. Do you think there's any point in waving them over?
I doubt. I mean, the man I spoke to just now was very friendly enough, but he was quite hostile. He looks like he might be a councillor. He's coming over anyway.
Maybe we can...
Hi there. What's your name? James. Hi, James.
Hi. Are you a councillor, James?
I'm an
you're
officer,
here.
don't record me.
Okay, well, I mean, we are allowed to record whoever we like. That is part of
You're an officer.
the legal...
All right, okay.
So we're...
You're doing your job.
So unfortunately we're live streaming, so we might need to have a chat afterwards in that case.
Is there a plan?
We're just waiting to support our colleagues whilst they have this discussion, and I think it's a fruitful one by the looks of it. You're impatient to get on, I imagine.
The word wants democracy to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah. Democracy isn't always quick enough. And it hasn't worked in
We've
this
known
case.
climate change for 30 years and emissions have got far worse. We're now in an emergency situation. We didn't have democracy in the war, they suspended elections and a national government. We need more than wartime. Even more than wartime.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, human beings as a species actually find it really hard to anticipate things, which is why it is so important that groups like Extinction Rebellion really try and push things through, because until people actually start to suffer, they won't put the effort in to make that change, which is why we have to be here today doing this. Let's see how long we stay. Oh, let's have a look.
Yeah.
Can you see?
They're all waiting to come back in.
They're all waiting. It's actually midday now. We have been here for over 2 hours. And they're all waiting, seeing what the negotiations are going to bring. I guess all they're upset just because they wanted to have a bit more of a lion maybe this morning. And
Yeah,
unfortunately...
the atmosphere's definitely changed. There's quite a lot of tension now. The man I spoke to, the officer just now, who didn't want to be filmed, looks pale and agitated.
He does. Can I ask you what exactly he meant by officer? I don't actually know.
No, I mean,
what
I guess
officer
his job is
means.
he's responsible for the working of this court. So although he's not a councillor, he's an officer of the court. So he's just doing his job, of course, and must be very frustrating. All the work that will follow this, reconvening it, organising it. I think this is a lot of disruption.
Absolutely.
He said we're keen.
Hello,
he said,
Dinah.
for democracy
New
to
person
happen.
joining. What did he say? Sorry.
He said he was. He said something like, "Oh, like everyone else, I'm just impatient for democracy to be allowed to happen."
This is an argument we're getting a lot. I know, Dinah, you were here earlier, weren't you? So I don't need to explain why we're here. We have got a lot that was trying to stop democracy from happening. Jamie had some really good arguments on that point about how we've gone through kind of every recourse we could. We haven't been listened to. And how this is about survival. We've got to the point where it's about survival, and we need to put pressure on them. It is not that Extinction Rebellion is against democracy in any way. We believe in democracy. This is about getting our point across.
It's about getting leaders to wake up to what's happening, rather than just ploughing blindly on.
Exactly. So Fidani's just arrived, just to say that the negotiations are going on now, and we really hope that there will be a good outcome from this. We'll see what happens. Do you think we can show us more pages?
Yeah, I don't know how.
Oh, actually, that's not fine. I just can't. Yeah.
You can't. Okay. Do you want me to hold it? And hang on, so I need to load Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should have done this beforehand.
I might crowdfund to pay for the data after this. I think the image is a bit better than it was in the past, though, which is great. Let me know if it's really, really blurry. I can kind of stop moving. The gentleman is back. He's still looking rather pale, a little bit annoyed.
Yeah. Definitely doesn't want to be on camera.
Definitely doesn't. There is a right, though. It is a right to record what is going on, and no one can stop you from doing that. So, for anyone out there who wants to have their own actions, if the policeman tells you to stop recording, legally you have absolutely no obligation to do so.
My phone is not loading Facebook, it won't let me in. So we might just have to take some of these images and... shall I just do some video recording? Yeah, no, I've accessed it, but it's still not letting me... Yeah, maybe it's because the battery's low now. Give me a minute, let's see what I can do.
I think we have a second battery pack. Did I keep...
Yeah, it's just not giving me any Wi-Fi access. I can't load... here it is.
I'm interested to know if the police are outside, if they're occupied elsewhere. I hope people have been taking pictures of what's going on outside, because obviously we've been sitting here as part of the media team, but hopefully people have been. Oh, that's great. I've got a message from Natalie. Thanks for action this morning. I have to go do some work away from the computer, so I have to leave now. Well done. Thank you, Natalie. It's great to have some support from the outside. Thank you. Have a look at what goes on, because obviously there'll be pictures uploaded of what's been going on outside as well. Though, of course, yeah, the main the main part of the action is in here. Thank you, Natalie. Good luck with your work. And hopefully see you at an event in Norwich sometime, or invite us to any event in another city.
Yeah, no, it's not letting me do it. I think it's because I don't have sufficient data on my phone.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Do you?
We're more or less. I don't think this is going to go on for very much longer.
It's just because if we share it to another page, once it's stopped, doesn't it stay on that page, or does it stop being on that page? We want to share it to more. Do you have Facebook at all yourself?
Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you could, just any page you think could be interested, to try and share this to? Because I think we've only shared it to 2 pages, and they did, in the notes they send them to other XR pages. There's also, I think, a volunteer page.
Okay. I can do. I'll carry on tweeting. I can do that. Okay. So the
Starting
live
to
link.
need to pee, actually.
Yes.
But terrified if I leave.
So okay, I'm retweeting the live stream.
Amazing. Yeah, that's really good. Bring it up. Fantastic. Got some people sitting
Lots
in the corner
of tweets
over there.
coming through, Peggy.
That's
I've been
amazing.
looking. There's loads of them. Suffolk Coastal Greens. Lots of individuals have said that police have arrived.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Thank you.
And that's to the live tweet. Yes, thank you, Suffolk Coastal Greens.
Thanks for watching.
And I'm going to go back and see if I can retweet.
I wonder if there's a way, if Suffolk Coastal Greens has a Facebook page, you can share it to their page as well.
I don't understand how to do it.
Let's have a look.
Shall I hold this?
That'd be
Can you see if you can
amazing.
do it? Oh, those are my fingers.
Let's see. So if we go to, so what we want is, you don't want Norfolk, we want the XR open page to be able to share it.
So while Peggy is figuring out how to get this to more people on Facebook, we'll continue with the live streaming. So people down there in groups. Alexandra is speaking over there to Jamie. I think the discussion is about whether or not the council are going to invite Extinction Rebellion to come and give a presentation about our concerns. Jamie is a great speaker. You'll be able to see him with the red hair and the green X at the back of the Extinction Rebellion t-shirt. So he's still talking to Alexandra. We still don't know what's happening. As far as we can see from the councillors over in the corner there is some hope on their part that they'll get us all out and can come back in again. I'm sure they're very irritated by what's happened this morning. I hope not too irritated to perhaps actually think about some of the issues we've raised. We have put our leaflets on each of their desks, and we've given interviews to the press as well. So our statements about what Extinction Rebellion actually want from the County Council have been shared, although Alexandra, the councillor who's been speaking to us, has been repeatedly going back to her, please write this all down and we will consider it in the usual way. But we have written it down. We have made representation many times. City Council, County Council. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. It's good to have support. It is slightly nerve-wracking now, I have to say. I've never been in this position before. This is the only time I've ever been inside a council meeting. from the gallery or from the floor. So it's all been very interesting. But thank you. It's been very important to us here. And Peggy, who's done all of the live streaming so far, absolute star, holding this little camera up and recording the whole thing. But it's been great to have support from people outside.
Thank you for everyone watching.
Yeah, thank you for everyone. We're seeing some movement over in the corner now. More people coming in. Everyone's been very polite. The security guards, the police officer who shook hands. Some of the councillors have actually brought water to our singers at various points, which has been great. But yeah, rising levels of frustration, I think, now. And a sense that, yeah, beyond that door, there's a whole lot of people waiting to take their seats again, who might have found the whole thing rather amusing and perhaps quite funny to start with, actually getting pretty frustrated now. So, difficult to know what's going to happen, but definitely they are coming back in or seeking to come back in.
Oh yeah, it's a bit of
Yeah, so we're seeing the councillors coming back in. Yeah, they are coming back in. What time is it now?
It's 12:17.
12:17, so we've been here since 10. So the officer who told me that the meeting was adjourned and he was clearing the gallery was actually not telling the truth. The meeting was adjourned, but not permanently adjourned. So they didn't have any right to clear the gallery, not if they intended to reconvene, as they just have. I'm pretty pissed off about that, I have to say. We shouldn't have been told to leave. We shouldn't have been asked to vacate the gallery. We were within our rights to be here as part of the democratic process that they are so wedded to. So clearing us out, really quite, well, not so much aggressively, but certainly with some frustration and irritation, is not something they should have done. So people are coming back in again, but smaller numbers than before. Maybe only about a third of the council members now in the room, but maybe there's a few more to come. There's a little bit of regrouping down the front here. Some t-shirts being switched over. Some goodbyes. Somebody else takes over the t-shirt. And off we go again. Difficult to tell from councillors' faces what kind of mood we've got here, but
what is going to happen,
or indeed what's going to happen. But there is a definite atmosphere. Now that the press have gone, well, actually that's not true. The press are still here. We don't have any film crews with us anymore, other than us, live streaming. So our fabulous protesters, our singing protesters, have regrouped. You can see Hereward down there. He's just recently had an operation on his hip, so standing at all is painful for him, but he's now been standing for 2 hours and 20 minutes. They look ready to begin again. A few more councillors coming back in. Yeah, a murmur of voices. Security guards, police. I can see police over in the corner. So I'm just going to take the camera over there just to make sure that we can see the police. Sorry, excuse me. You can see the Ivor's jacket down in the corner there. So, for anybody who's joined recently, we are 2 hours and 20 minutes into an occupation of Norfolk County Council's council chamber, and the reason we're doing this is to try to get them to reconsider committing £2 million to a design of the new link road, which will lead to upwards of £160 million being built on a great big road right through the Wensum Valley, which is a heavily protected site of scientific interest. And we are trying to get our leaders to realise that spending millions of pounds on new roads at this point, when we have 12 years to actually make a difference to the coming climate catastrophe that is actually going to waste our planet, destroy our planet and the future of our children and grandchildren. This is Shireen. Go, Shireen! Respect! Here we are. You can hear the sneers of the councillors. Listen to them. Listen to them. I understand that the sneery man may have just been told off. Extraordinary. Want to take it? So we've got the police now here.
Okay, so for people who are watching, let us know if you don't know what's going on today. We're occupying the Norfolk County Council. Power to the people. People have the power.
stronger by the hour. Power, people, power, power to the people. People have the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Stronger by the hour. Power, people, power, power to the people. People have the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Stronger by the hour. Power, people, power to the people. Oh, the police are trying to tell them to leave, I think, but they can't hear them. Can you hear us? Stronger by the hour. Power, people, power, power to the people. People have the power. Stronger by the hour. Power, people, power, power to the people. They've just adjourned the meeting to let you know. So from James, yeah, they lied about postponing the meeting. They were all still here. So it has been adjourned. There are more released this time though, so let's see what happens. Let's see how much longer we're allowed to film this as well, because I'm afraid that we're going to get removed as well at some point. And they've put music on. Can you hear it? Power! People! Power! Power to the people. People have the power. Tell me, can they hear us? Hello Janice, thank you for coming. Join in. They've actually now put music on the overhead speakers to shut us out. Power to the people. People have the power. By the hour. Power. People. Power. Power to the people. People have the power. Can you hear us? Sounded by the hour. Power. People. Power. Power to the people. People have the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Stronger by the hour. Power. People. Power. Power to the people. As you can see, everyone has left again. The meeting has been adjourned. Oh, and they've just stopped the overhead music as well. So let's see what happens. The police have actually gone again, so I don't know what's going to happen. Power! Power to the people. People have the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Oh, well, that wasn't intentional. I'm not filming myself. There we go, that's right around. Josie Magli. Power to the people. People have the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Stronger by the hour. Power. People. Power. you hear us? Stronger by the hour. Oh, lovely. Got a message from Janice. Anything you need bringing in? Do we need anything?
I don't know, people might need things outside. We're kind of a bit isolated in here.
We are. Are you outside, Janice? I mean, if you're outside, I mean, if you have snacks, water, they would always be gratefully received. Whether you'll be allowed in is another matter. I mean, we're in the overhead gallery, so if ever you can access the gallery with water and snacks, that'd be amazing. I managed to break my glass water bottle on the way here today, so I don't even have any water. But yeah, I mean, if you can bring anything in, thanks. That would be amazing. People are the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Stronger by the hour. He was not amused. Power. Power to the people. People have the power. Tell me, can you hear us? Stronger by the hour. Power. People. People. Power. Woo! Big clapping. It's amazing. Police. They're still there, they're just round the back. Okay, so the police are still here, they're just hiding round the back.
They are avoiding your camera, Peggy.
Do you think that's what it
I
is?
think that's why they're behind the big wooden screen.
They don't want us to know. Read their lips from afar.
There
they are. So I guess they're going to see what they're going to do. Wonder what he's showing the other guy on his phone.
Yeah, maybe taking pictures. Make sure that they've got us on their databases.
Well, yeah, we've all after today. I think we would definitely will be on a database somewhere.
24-hour police watch. We're so dangerous.
There'll be nothing safer for us at that point, will there? That's great. So still got some people here supporting us on the right.
Outside.
They're very determined,
drinking
aren't they?
a lot of coffee.
Yeah, a bit jealous actually. I wouldn't mind a coffee. Cup of tea. I mean, I guess we're going to see just how long people last until their bladders burst, really. Yeah. I think that's going to be
I suppose the question in my mind is, at what point can the police intervene, actually?
That is a good question.
Because they'll have to charge them with something, or at least they'll have to have a reason to remove them from the building.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the security guards haven't removed them, but then I suppose these days you have to have good reason, don't you?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So our officer is now talking to these guys.
I thought one of them was a journalist.
I thought they were both journalists.
I'm not quite sure who they are. Got a bit of spying going on with Chris above. Can you see what he's writing on his computer? Maybe he's getting a quote from one of the councillors about the disruption we're bringing today.
Yeah.
I mean, oh dear, someone's just fell over.
It's alright.
Oh dear, sat between two chairs. Oh dear, hope he's alright. That happens, we've all done that. Lean back too far in a chair or...
How's your voice, Peggy?
It's alright, I wish I hadn't smashed my water bottle on the way here this morning. A bit of water would be nice.
Have some coffee.
That would be amazing, actually.
No, it's empty. Oh, I'm so sorry, I raised you.
Oh no, don't. I do actually have a piece of fruit on me. I might eat something. Didn't sleep very well last night. I don't know about you.
No,
but,
I didn't either.
It's a bit of a short night.
Busy dreams.
I was trying to hear what he was saying.
Yeah.
But I couldn't.
Who they are? Is it worth asking them?
Can you ask them whether they're journalists? And what they're from? Oh, hi there.
Wonderful.
Is that? Are you Dan?
Hello, Chris. How are you? Yeah, I was waiting to phone Dan. Thank you very much. That's right.
Do you want to go and have a little discussion with them? That's great. There we go. So, Chris and Rebecca are both talking with the journalists here on my right.
Oh, hello, Rebecca. How are you?
There we go.
How are you?
I am conscious I am just talking to James here at this point because you're the only person watching. So thanks for that, James. If you have any time, James, to share this to any other pages. Oh, wait, the police are intervening.
Dan Grimmer is from the EDP. He's recording this. It's interesting they've sent them in.
So the policewoman is telling them that they've been warned several times that it's for them to leave. They're respectfully asking them to leave.
I think they'll be yeah, maybe they've got them.
I'll check. So James, if you are watching this right now, if there are
3 policewomen around.
any extra pages you could share this to, unfortunately there isn't a share button when I've tried doing it on other people's phones around me. I don't know why. But obviously we can also share this after I've finished filming. There's a guy laughing to our left. He seems to find this hilarious. It's getting a real deal with this. Thanks, James. That's great. I don't know why I can't share it. I'm not sure if it's because when I tried to access it via other people's phones, they didn't have the app, the Facebook app, which you need to watch it, and maybe therefore to share it. Oh, hello, Jan. So there's someone else there. The police have just come and given a formal warning. And obviously anyone who wants to share it to any other pages is more than welcome. It's almost as if we're kind of invisible up here. We're kind of ignored.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I would have thought
There's
more
just 2
people
of us
would
now,
be...
though, so I imagine they'll probably send police or security guards up for us in a minute.
Obviously we're not official press. Oh, everyone's having a bit of a sit down, legs are hurting. Oh, thanks Beth, that's amazing. Just managed to share to your own timeline, that's fantastic. I don't know why I'm not able to share, it's a bit strange, isn't it? Yeah, there wasn't the share option. So if anyone else does have that share button, if they can press it and share to any groups that might be interested. was it Suffolk Coastal Greens
Yeah.
who liked. It might be worth sharing it
Green
to
Media.
Green Media. It might really be worth sharing it to their pages.
Who else have we
People
got?
who have
XR
expressed
Norwich,
already
OT.
support on Twitter.
T-shirts being moved around.
There's
a few people leaving.
I think
Looks like Patrick's got to go.
Yeah, he did have something going on this afternoon actually, didn't he? So
I wonder whether we should go and take their places.
we could.
I
What
think
you
we're
mean,
probably
film from down there?
doing-
The only problem is that they will probably take the phone away. You're not.
Yeah. Police hovering behind the.
They are. They're hiding
and
out
a
of
security
sight.
guard. Big security guard has moved in. I don't think it's going to be long now.
Hello.
Happening now is the officers have told us that we're breaking public meetings act by being there after even after the
Okay.
the night anyway. Yeah.
Public meetings act.
There is.
They will eventually remove us if we decide not to leave.
Okay.
And what have you decided to do?
Everyone is making their
Right.
Each person individually. Great.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll carry on filming.
We'll see. How long we can keep going.
Are you okay for a bit yet?
Yeah.
I've got a lecture to write before tomorrow. But that's okay.
I mean, if you
I ought
want
to stay up late.
If you want to
Could
sit
do it
down
here.
and
No, I
start.
haven't got my laptop with me, unfortunately. I think I might use some of the lecture to report on some of this.
Why not? Is
There's
there
a big
any
audience.
connection?
Yeah, it's on Darwin. So I think,
Amazing.
I think I could well use it to explain about what we did today,
To make
maybe
some
with some
links.
footage as well.
That'd be fantastic. Obviously, if any of you can use this material for anything, please do.
Very large security guard.
Gosh. Yeah. Though actually, I thought they would be a little bit more hands-on.
Yeah.
Security guards, they've actually been.
I think there's all kinds
been
of
keeping
health
a
and
distance
safety.
kind of issues. Involved. Kind of want to shout across and ask if everyone's all right.
Is everyone all right?
How's it going? Okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's great.
Yeah.
We're a bit afraid of leaving, yeah.
They won't let us back in again. Hello. Sorry?
Really? But aren't you counsellors?
Are you a counsellor?
You are. Can I ask you what's your name? Okay. Ooh.
Dave Roundtree, that's
Dave
a very
Roundtree.
distinguished name.
Wonderful.
Are you from the Roundtree family? You're not from that branch. Oh, good. From a strong
Okay.
dissenting family, then. Mine too.
Further. That's good to know. Is there something we could be doing that's more important? Do you is there anything we two could do else?
Is there anything you want us to do?
Yeah.
Other than to keep
Like
tweeting
live streaming.
and recording? Yeah. Okay.
Share it out.
Yeah.
We do need to do. Oh, he was in Blur. Are you talking about the gentleman I was just showing here?
Dave Roundtree.
Wonderful. So, Dave, do you support what's happening today, or are you just here because you're interested in what's going on?
Is that going to be the... Yeah. That was not our fault though, was it? Good. Yeah.
So actually, it's been nice to see so many groups.
Yeah. Pain for you guys, though.
I don't think it's pain. I mean,
No.
we're obviously paid. We come here, in your own time, and I think that's valuable.
Thank you.
You know, I've seen quite a cooling effect on local government. I think over the last 2 years we've become understandably disenfranchised from government at all levels. I think it's nice wanting to engage with and to talk to us.
Good.
And I've seen some really one or two of the actions that we've done before. It's nice to maybe the opportunity to hear more from you.
Oh, I really hope that happens. Yeah, I really hope that happens.
He actually identified himself as he's coming from the community that I represent.
Right, so you can talk to him. Is it Jamie, the redhead? Jamie, the redhead? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I think the thing about Extinction Rebellion is that it's a very wide demographic. So there are people, you know, like I'm a professor at the university. We've got lots of people from the university involved, but young people, lots of the students, but also lots of people from all kinds of walks of life. And it's not, you know, it's people who just feel like they've got to do something about this fast and not seeing any commitment to it in local government.
I think the current situation nationally, we're so far away from talking about. I know Brexit dominates political conversation. We are very far away from talking about environment, social care, health, health and social care. Huge challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you will say to me, you should be talking about climate change for years and years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. We've got some huge challenges.
Well, what upsets me, I've been to two meetings now, a county council meeting today and a city council meeting. And what upset... Sorry, this county council meeting and a city council meeting just a couple of weeks ago. That's my first engagement really with local politics in 50 years or so, yeah. I mean, sort of close-up involvement. And both times, there's been a horrible amount of sneering. We heard it from this gentleman down here. People, you know, who might as well have their fingers in their ears, and they're so aggressive and mocking and sneery, you know, and I understand people's frustration, but for me, that's been a really shocking sight.
I'm not anyone that irritated. I mean, I've received a small salary to be here. As I say, none of you being paid here to be here is quite so I have no reason to be irritated.
Good, thank you.
It's actually 10 years ago I was saying to Jane, you know, I was actually thrown out of this chamber for protesting a budget meeting.
What were you protesting
about?
When austerity started, it's not really what's really been that long ago now. But they just...
Is it 10 years? Yeah. And so what did you do? You were here?
Yeah, I was up there.
Up in the gallery?
I was up there where you are.
And you were thrown out?
Yeah.
Wow. Were you charged?
We didn't manage quite as much time as you. I think we only managed about 2 hours.
Okay.
In a day.
And were you, what kind of nuisance were you making of yourself?
The security guards here were very polite to me, and they've been happy.
Yeah, they have been. They've been great.
Yeah.
So, I think at that time as well, you know, many of them would have been very worried about
Yeah.
just starting.
Were you charged?
No.
Were you given a warning? They just chucked you out. Yeah.
One of my friends made it all the way to sell it, which is
yeah. Sorry?
Some of you are very young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie is one of our most articulate speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you should have a chat with him. He's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. Taught me everything I know.
Right.
Which isn't much.
I think Jamie's actually running in the next elections.
Is he?
Yeah.
For the city council? Jamie, are you running in the election?
Yes.
City council? Yeah. This gentleman was just telling me 10 years ago this gentleman was thrown out of the gallery for protesting. I think the councillors are still here.
Tenacious.
Yeah.
Sure. Still feet. We can still see feet through the door. A few introductions happening here. Oh, hello, Rebecca. I'm not sure if you've watched this before, so this is live
from Norfolk County Council Council Chamber.
And we've been occupying it now for a good
2.5 hours. And the reason we're here is to protest against the building of the Link Road, which we're protesting to because it's going to be built right across the Wensum Valley, which is a site of special scientific interest, but also because now is not the time to be spending upwards of 160 million on major new road developments, however much people might feel they're convenient. We have 12 years left to try our best to avert a climate emergency, a climate catastrophe. So we're trying to persuade county councillors to think again. And not just do business as usual, which I have to say there's been a lot of very sneery behaviour here today when the councillors reconvened after the second adjournment. There was a lot of, pretty aggressive white male behaviour actually, trying to shout us down. They've also tried to silence our singers by putting on opera, which seemed entirely appropriate for the political persuasion of our county council.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice for the message that brings, I think, opera today. They did also put music on, did you hear, on the overhead speakers?
Oh, did they?
They
Okay.
did, yeah. I didn't actually hear what kind of music it was, but they did try that for a little bit. They didn't leave it on for very long.
Not very sensible. All it did was just send adrenaline levels up.
I think it made people just, sing even louder. So, I've got a message from Rebecca, well done. Oh, that's great.
Can you hone in
they
on
are really brave.
Jamie's arm? He's got
what's he got on his
telephone
arm?
numbers, emergency telephone numbers on his arm.
So none of them
They
have
all do.
phones on them, as you can see. So they've put the number of the lawyer on their arms instead, as you can see on Jamie's arm. Jamie, who's
now chatting to two sympathetic councillors.
Yeah, lovely. One of whom also occupied the chamber for 2 hours in his youth about austerity cuts. Obviously we support all the other groups who are here today, and we're sorry that we can't demonstrate all together. I'm hoping that they did demonstrate together outside. We're kind of being made to feel bad instead of by the very people who are probably going to vote for the cuts, which seems slightly hypocritical.
Yeah, and being made to feel bad because they say that our action has meant that other protest groups have not been able to engage with councillors today. But we've just been told by the two interesting councillors here that actually those protest groups have protested very well, very consistently over several weeks, and so the councillors here today are very much in the picture about what the disability groups and the children's centres groups feel or want.
Yeah. I mean,
So I'm
obviously it's a pain. They've taken time off work and they've got childcare and they've come here this morning. So it is a pain that, for them. But we are not the ones responsible for those cuts. In fact, what we would love...
We didn't put the agenda together today.
We didn't. So it's unfortunate it had to happen at the same time. But yeah, what we would love is actually that the money, the very money that would go towards this road, could go towards not having these cuts, because they're deciding the budget, and they're going to take. They decide where that money goes, and we would love the money to not go to that road, and to go to these people instead. So hopefully we are there also in their interest. Oh, we've got another message. Sandra, so no budget voted through, or have other budgets been agreed apart from the Western Link? What do we know about the other budgets? So nothing has been decided yet.
There's been no
at all.
discussion, there's been no meeting yet.
Because they did tell us, didn't they, that they would do something, that they were meeting in a different room, but actually that doesn't seem to be the case at all.
That has been. There's so many. The council is so loud.
So no, it doesn't look as if, Sandra, any budget has been agreed to at all. From what I can tell, the problem is that we are afraid to leave, because once we do leave, we can't really get back. And it would be great to know what goes on here as long as possible. And people just seem to be ignoring us up here in the gallery.
Well, an officer has asked us to leave a few times, but...
Yeah, but he hasn't come back for a while.
No, he hasn't. There's a few councillors wandering in and engaging in conversation with us now.
Which is great.
Which is great.
Yeah. Want to talk and make you sympathetic. And yeah, it's great to talk to these councillors, and hopefully we can keep in touch with them, send emails.
What are we, 3 hours in now?
Gosh, what's the time?
Let's have a look. Yeah, 3 hours in.
3 hours in. I do not want to know how much data I've used.
Yeah, I'll pay for it.
We'll pay for it. We can crowdfund it. This could be the contribution I give in money for the year to the group. Hello, Georgie. Lovely to have you back. I think you were here earlier. So we're talking to some councillors, and I think at this point we've reached the point where the police are going to have to come in and pull us out. They don't seem to want to do that yet. So are they still hiding behind the wall, do you think? They've probably left again. We'll see. We'll see where they are. I'm actually getting a little bit peckish. I wonder if I can grab some...
I mean, if our nice councillors might bring us some water and some food. Do you want me to hold the camera?
That'd be lovely.
Should have brought a picnic.
We should have, actually. I did think of it, but...
So Peggy's gone with some food, so you've got me now. I'm sure our protesters down there are pretty hungry. The stalwarts from the EDP, Dan Grimmer and others, are still here 3 hours in. Very impressive. Jamie is still talking to 2 of the county councillors who have been interested to come and actually engage in conversation with us. He's explaining about why we're here, why it matters. Jamie's actually going to be standing for the Green Party in the City Council elections later this year. And personally, I really hope he gets in, not just because I believe in what he believes in, but because he's an extremely articulate, very brilliant young person who I am learning enormous amounts from. Down there's Hereward, who, as I said earlier, has actually had a recent operation on his hip and is still here and has been standing for 2.5 hours. They are now sitting in the council chamber. So for an update, Peggy's been doing the live streaming here, but she is sitting next to me about to eat a banana. And now I'm really okay. I had a breakfast before I came. We are in the council chamber. It's been 3 hours now since 10 o'clock. So just for those of you who've joined us for the live feed, 3 hours ago we all gathered outside the county hall. There were a large number of us. Most of those people stayed outside. A small number of us came into the gallery. And these brilliant people who are now waving walked straight into the council chamber just as the councillors were walking in. There was a lot of chaos this morning, and although there were huge numbers of security guards, they didn't seem to be alert to anything. Anyway, our nine people in the white t-shirts down there walked straight in, and they sang for 2.5 hours. Protest songs. The council adjourned after about 20 minutes of this, went and had coffee next door, and then re-adjourned slowly, and our protesters kept singing, and then after a period of time the council adjourned again, slightly more irritated this time, and then they reconvened again. A couple of councillors have come and tried to engage the protesters in conversation, including Alexandra, what's her surname? Kemp. Alexandra Kemp, who's an independent from King's Lynn, who has actually been really good at engaging in conversation. She's been beckoned back down again. She's angry now.
You need to go now.
When you said they were listening to us,
You're not going to help climate change or anything if you go on like this. You really must listen to reasons.
when we were trying to get this,
No, just go now.
when we were reading our act, we were reading what we're here for, do you cancel it?
People with children, disabled people came for debate, and they need to have that debate. And you're not helping climate change or anybody. And will you please go now? No. You're making a big mistake. You must go now. It's very, very important for you to do so.
That was Alexandra Kemp, independent from King's Lynn. Earlier she came and talked to the protesters, engaged in conversation with them, went away, and has now just said her piece. Well, you heard it. She's pretty angry. There's a lot of anger and frustration, of course.
Actually, what we're doing is keep wasting time.
Yeah.
It's as if this cannot happen again extremely soon. With more sympathy, obviously it's annoying that it's
Yeah. It's interesting that so quickly the councillors turned this into a story about how we're silencing protesters on disability and protesters on children's centres, when we've actually been told by a councillor directly just a few minutes ago that those two protest groups have actually been extremely well represented up until now, and that actually we don't need to feel bad about those things.
And we're not stopping
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Later on,
Yeah.
at a later date.
And of course, this is part of a strategy, isn't it? To make us feel, or not to make us feel, but make us look bad by stopping democracy, etc., etc.
Well, we don't want those cards.
Here's Peggy.
Hello.
Here's Peggy. And where's your banana skin?
This is yeah.
We've been here for 3 hours, and
Yeah,
we've got
I got a
a
bit
banana
desperate.
between us.
Yeah, sorry, I actually did finish that banana.
That's
I'm so
fine.
hungry. Didn't sleep well last night. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
worried.
we've all been a bit anxious.
With this work.
Yeah. So Peggy, I'm going to pass you back the camera if you're done with your...
Absolutely, thank you for that.
So hello Pete again. Send you a hello. So yeah, let's see. Oh, so as we were saying earlier, we are not going to stop the debate from happening. It's going to stop at a later date. It's going to happen again at a later date. We are not the people who want to implement these cuts, and we would love that the money that would go towards this road would instead go towards these people instead. So people will really try and make us look as if we're responsible in some way for the fact that these people can't be heard, and that these cuts might happen because of us. But that is not true. That is not true. We do want them to be heard, and I'm really hoping that they are demonstrating together outside as I speak. So we had quite a dramatic entrance for Pete, I think, who wasn't here, of the councillor Alexandra Kemp again, who came in and told us it was a disgrace us being here. And promptly left again. So more anger is going to come out, I think, as time goes on. Who knows how much longer we will be here? How are you? Got a wave from Jamie there. The councillors still seem to be outside. People kind of peek, have a look in. Let's see if the side door is open. It is, actually. There's no one there right now. Can I ask you what that was about?
Yes.
The policeman couldn't find the place.
Gentleman was Dave, it is, isn't it? Yeah. Dave was just saying, do you want us in?
That's right. To the WPCs, there's a notice on the back of these firearms officers.
Right.
So they've obviously been dragged off, proper crime fighting and kind of organised crime and that kind of thing to come and really shows how hard it is to be somewhere in London to actually use a chair. It's slightly worrying. This is a peaceful protest. Imagine a bomb had gone off somewhere. This is how many officers walk in here. That's how many you can find at a push in Norfolk.
At one time.
At one time.
Did it take them a while to get here as well? Because obviously we didn't see them for the first hour.
When the protest started to when the first policeman arrived.
Do you know when the phone call was? Like how long it actually took? No.
Pretty shortly afterwards, wasn't it?
You'd have thought, yeah, they would have guessed. Yeah, so they got firearms, so they're wearing kind of proper equipment.
Badges on the back, so you know who's who and what's what.
Yeah.
Obviously they're not armed, but
they're ready for a fight.
they come from armed patrol cars.
So they're probably a bit disappointed, actually, aren't they? A bit disappointed by the peaceful.
But it's very awkward for the police. They don't want to get involved in politics. They want to be the independent. It's not the 70s now. Police aren't being put aside particularly.
Yeah.
So this has always been the awkward thing. Police have to drag civilians out who won't be going quietly in the house.
Yeah. They want to wait as long as possible before having to do that. They're probably getting several warnings.
Teresa, okay, thank you.
So where do you represent?
University.
Right. Okay, how long have you been representing?
I'm the
Kemp
councillor.
Yeah.
Probably the last election.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. How's your experience been so far?
Well, this is the most excitement we've ever had in a council meeting, to be honest. By quite a long way.
For a long while. Do you think?
Other, if you go to places like Liverpool or Birmingham, you know, these kind of protests are quite routine. It's quite often meetings are abandoned or disrupted in some way or another. People see it as their kind of democratic right to come and make their voices heard at the meeting. That never happens here. It's kind of
Really unusual. I mean,
lucky if there's 2 or 3 people in the public gallery at most meetings.
Interesting. So hopefully people will become slightly more political engaged, right? I mean, democracy doesn't work well if nobody participates.
My reservation about something like this is it's part of the budget was cuts to part of the social care and childcare process. That will affect a lot of local families, including families that I represent. It's going to be the range for anything to do with see the debate in action, to see what's going to happen. They need to care for their children. Many of them have trouble illnesses across the county to be here, and many of them have childcare arrangements in places you could imagine. And so,
I am hoping there would have been some joint demonstration happening. If any of them would feel that they would, I'm hoping some of them would have felt that they were welcome to also demonstrate outside.
yeah, I think there was another demonstration earlier, but really they wanted to rather than demonstrate, they wanted to come and watch, to see the debate, see their representatives speaking up for them, and see what happens.
I mean, obviously, yeah, it is a shame. I mean, I think obviously there will be the possibility of coming back for the debate another day, doing it another day. I know that's a pain, but it's still not stopping them from coming. It's putting it off until a later date. Extinction Rebellion would actually love if that 161 million did not go to the road. That 2 million. So Extinction Rebellion would really love if all that money was not spent on that road and spent on not, having these cuts instead. So we are definitely on these people's side. It is unfortunate that it's the same day. It would have been great if we could have demonstrated a bit more together, because I think we want the same things, really. We always think that money is better spent elsewhere. On people. So, had you heard of Extinction Rebellion? Sorry, before today at all, or no?
Formed in London in October. Occupied the bridges. Here we go. Here we go. And they've got cameras on them as well.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Smash and going here.
Too late for Teresa.
Gosh, there are as many policemen as people, which is quite impressive. So whoever's watching. Oh yeah.
They're now going to be spoken to. So, but
Yeah.
I've been asked to get yourselves to leave now. No, that's no. Well, you can.
Yeah.
So, because they were going to record, just going to ask for
Yeah.
everyone's name and addresses, but they want yourselves just to leave the actual
Okay.
gallery bit here, so we'll make your
So we
way out.
can't record up here anymore.
No, so everyone's now going to be coming out the front door, okay?
Okay, so we're being told that we're
Alright,
not
but
allowed to
we've got
stay here.
other people recording down here, including the EDP. So that's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, does it
So
not
going
look like
towards our
they're all
things.
in?
I'm just going to wait until you put your coat on, and then you can continue filming while I put mine on.
I'll be back in a minute.
Could you then take my phone while I put my coat on?
You will stay here. You won't be able to stay here now.
Do you want to just make your way through to there so I can shut this down?
Yeah, I've just got to send something.
Just make sure there's no more belongings for anyone.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Would you mind, sorry, holding on to that?
Yeah. That's Teresa, so I'm going to have to take that.
Okay.
You can just get your bag down there. I'll escort you down so I can lock this off. And if you go out the side anyway, because everyone's going to be
sure.
out the side door.
Hi, Teresa, yeah. They're being arrested now, I think we're going to have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, just make a move to me there.
Oh, sorry. Have you got my bag?
She's got her bag and stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Have you got out the side door?
Amazing, sorry. So, for people who are watching, I'm now going to leave the gallery. Thank you for watching. I'll probably turn this back on once I'm outside. Looks as if they're going to be left for a little bit longer, actually. So... Let's see.
Might even just make you move out there so I can lock this down now.
Okay, so thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see what happens later on.
Okay, right, let's go.